Good Friday evening, not afternoon, but Friday evening. It's a Facebook Live Friday. I'm Brian Milam along with Alex Walker, and we want to thank everybody at Bluegrass Orthopedics for making the Facebook Live product a reality. And obviously someone is dressed for work and someone is not. He's been working outside.
State track, right? Yep.
Yeah, you dress like it, you know. Did you break a sweat out there?
I did not, thankfully. Rain delays. A lot of rain and weather out there.
Yeah, a lot. As you know, the weather has been a little dicey for athletic events, but they got all of the. They started this a couple of days ago. Got all of the events in today, except one. Have to come back, I guess, tomorrow morning and finish off the KHSAA State Track and Field over at the UK Outdoor Complex. A lot of stuff to go over with you just in a few minutes. It's been a busy week of UK basketball to begin with. I don't think many people saw Brad Calipari entering the transfer portal. Nick Richards comes back. E.J. Montgomery comes back. I think everybody saw Nick doing it. E.J., it sounds like it was a 50-50, 60-40. He might not come back, and then he does. So it's been a busy week with football. What do you think about the decisions of those three?
Well, I guess E.J.'s father just chimed in and said it was a lot closer than people think, that E.J. was going to leave Kentucky and not come back, that he worked out for the Thunder, and the Thunder were maybe saying, hey, maybe you want to be in the draft after all. But he elected to come back to school, which I think is the best choice. I think Kentucky fans thought we were going to get one or the other, not both. And the fact that both are back is big for a front court that needed some bodies. And I think he has the chance. I think the pitch to EJ was you can make the same jump PJ did if you play your cards right. Watch what PJ did from year 1 to year 2. You can do the same and become a potential lottery pick. Because he's one of those guys like Nick. He shows flashes, but he hasn't quite put all the pieces together. If he can put the pieces together and make that jump, I think that'll be huge for Kentucky this year.
I've heard Mike Pratt say over and over, the UK basketball analyst, do you want to go to the league or do you want to stay in the league?
Yep.
And that's a big difference. I know when you flash millions of dollars and say, if you come here, we will pay you this much money, and that's a lot of money. But when you take in taxes and an agent and just the day-to-day living, that money can go away pretty quickly if you're not smart with it or know a good financial advisor and investor. So, yeah, you look at making money or getting money. And we all want to get some money, but I want to make it in that second contract. Rick Pitino always said you make your money in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, what have you, on that second contract. And I think when in doubt, I think you always come back, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you kind of think of what PJ did. If PJ does get drafted late second round last year, he might make a roster, might not, might flame out in the G League. Now, he's at least going to be a potential lottery pick, and he's going to get a lot of money on that signing bonus. So he made himself a lot of money. And this is also a front court now with Nick and EJ. This is big. Let's say both leave. Who do you got? I mean, you got some scrambling going on. Now, Cal's got to feel good. He's got those two guys, veteran presence. Nate Sestina coming in from Bucknell, also a veteran grad transfer presence for Kentucky. There's no, I don't think there's a superstar big there, but there's enough pieces. I think they could be really physical, and I think they both made really good decisions. Like you said, when in doubt, come back. If these guys are telling you you might get drafted,
you might
back.
not.
Make sure it's a sure thing. You don't want to go in the draft and just think, am I going to be in the 50s, 55, 60s? It's not like you're looking at the top 60 college basketball players. A bunch of guys coming from Europe. There's a bunch of other factors going in. You come back to school. Buckle down. At the very least, you get a chance to experience Kentucky for another year, experience college for another year, and make your decision then. But if it's a toss-up, always come back. It always seems to work. How many times do we see it work out for guys, like PJ, came back, made himself a lot of money versus guys that, where are they now?
That's right.
You don't even hear their names anymore.
That's the question. Where are they now? It's good to get that attention, and I think a lot of it deals with attention. And I'm the old man of the two, obviously. But I've always wondered, kids get so enamored with making the video. I'm leaving video. I'm coming back video. We're going to make another video later, and I'm going to come back. And make your mind, and don't worry about all the attention, because we all learn attention is fleeting, especially when you have your career on the line. So good job to those guys for deciding to come back. One guy who did leave after 1 year, is DeMarcus Cousins. Now, he played, thankfully for him. He come back from that torn quad he had with the Warriors. He played in the NBA Finals last night. The first John Calipari UK guy to play in the Finals.
And that's a stat that you look at and go, oh, man, is he not coaching the Most of the time, his draft picks go so high, they're playing for the worst teams in the league that aren't ever going to touch the NBA Finals. So it's great for Boogie, though. The fact that that injury looked awful. The fact that he was able to rehab that quickly, you got to think if the Finals weren't a potential thing for him, the rehab would not have been that quick.
Right.
But the fact that he had the chance to finally, this might be his last chance. You don't know where he goes in the summer, but
sure.
I think you realize this was maybe one of his last chances to play in the Finals, and it was great to see him out there. I mean, he had a decent night. I think the more he plays and gets shakes some of that rust off, he'll have some better performances against the Raptors. But it's great to see him out there, and it's cool that Cal finally got that first guy under his belt, right? More to come for sure, though.
Another factor in last night's NBA Finals, there is a Kentucky connection to the NBA Finals, and that is Pascal Siakam. His younger brother, older brother, Boris Siakam, from the Cameroon, played at Caverna back in 2004. He played in the All-A State tournament over at EKU, lost to Hazard, I believe, in the Elite Eight, and then they win the 5th region title, beat Eastridge in the first round in 2004, again taking his ball club to the Elite Eight. So while there is a Kentucky Wildcat or former Wildcat in the Finals, Siakam, Boris, played at Western Kentucky, and now his younger brother is in the NBA Finals. I love the Sweet 16, but I think Pascal's got the better gig here playing in the NBA Finals.
That's such a fascinating story. I remember you telling me that a couple months back when Pascal was kind of having his coming out party for the Raptors. And yet you see his younger brother, you see him. Those are guys that you watch for a second. He's got some potential. And those are two guys that are really impressive basketball players. He had, 32 points last night?
Yeah,
and I think I saw something that's the most points in an NBA Finals debut since Kevin Durant, I think 7 or 8 years ago. So he made some money last night. I don't know how long he's going to stay with the Raptors, what his contract situation's like, but no matter what, he showed some signs last night, which is pretty cool.
No question about it. There's also another topic we'll touch on briefly. I don't have all of the info on it. Dave Baker is one of the guys who Dave Baker is great at point counterpoint. Okay, say this. What about gonna go over this direction. The alcohol sales, potential alcohol sales at UK sporting events, basketball, football, baseball. It's been almost 20 years since CM Newton implemented the zero tolerance policy with alcohol sales at UK events. I was in Hazard when the tragedy occurred 20 years ago, which forced Kentucky and the SEC to make a lot of changes with alcohol sales. We see a lot of fans, and this isn't just UK, this is fans all over the country, that get rather prepped for a football game in the parking lot. Go into the game, and they are feeling the effects of being prepped in the parking lot. But if you sell it at a game, we unfortunately had an alcohol-related death before a football game or after a football game where a little 4-year-old was killed. And there is a lot of eggshells to walk on in this situation. This is not just about money. This is about a great many things. But just on the surface, thoughts about a potential alcohol sales at Kroger Field and Rupp Arena.
And before anybody, celebrates, this is all school by school implementation.
That's
it's not just across the board sweeping regulations. It's up to each school of where they sell it in the stadium. Is it going to be general admission? Is it going to be just the suite levels? On the surface, it'd be nice to see. But like you mentioned, it's more than money. It's kind of you start approaching the moral ground, the moral compass. That's an angle a lot of these rules surround. Do you want to be known as a stadium that sells beer? And I think one of the best ways to go about it is look at schools that have already done it. Has it worked? What were the pros? What were the cons of that? If it worked, great. If not, don't do it. But it'll be interesting to see. I know when that news dropped today, social media lit up because it's a heavy hitting subject, and a lot of people want it. But there are some downfalls, and you have to you have to look at those before you make a decision here.
Now you're a Big Ten guy, went to Penn State. What did they do up there?
Penn State, actually, they're, I think, in the same process right now of implementing the rule. Some Big Ten stadiums do allow it, and they're kind of trying to figure out, like UK, what they're going to do with the rule. I'm trying to think if I've been to a college campus that has sold it. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I think that's the best way. Talk to people that have implemented rules and see what's worked, see what hasn't worked, and just stick with the stuff that works.
Well, one thing that does work for me, and you people who know me know baseball works for me, especially at the high school and college level. This weekend, the high school baseball semi-state will take place at Kentucky Proud Park in Central Kentucky. It's being played at Western Kentucky, Morehead State. It's being played all around the Commonwealth at collegiate parks, not just a high school park like it used to be. This is a big deal for kids who, let's be honest, some of these guys may never play college baseball. You know, they get into the workforce or just go to school. So to play at a college facility, especially a $50 million college facility like Kentucky Proud Park, this is a big deal that you don't get every day. To the victor goes the spoils, and if you're a region champ in Central Kentucky to Northern Kentucky, you get to come to Kentucky Proud Park and play. That is a big deal for me and for those kids. They get to play on the turf and really enjoy the moment.
And it's an even neater deal for Montgomery County. I mean, they haven't been to state in how long?
Since I was 3.
Since you were 3, right? So, I mean, not only do they get to just play at state, but they get to play at Kentucky Proud Park, which is such a special thing. Those guys will be able to tell, you know, their friends, their kids someday, which is really special. And Tate's Creek, the cool thing about that semi-state matchup, they're playing Somerset. Tate's Creek, just played there already a couple days ago. So does that give them an advantage? Maybe they already got to play there for a day.
I think it does because you're playing on AstroTurf, or the new synthetic grass. It's not the old school AstroTurf that yours truly played on that still has some of the burns and on elbow joints and places in between. But it is unique. You go to a high school park, they are not spacious, most of them. You come to KPP and all of a sudden you're playing in a small canyon. And this is a big deal. We're going to have highlights tomorrow on the 11 o'clock news, maybe some of the 6, depending on that 4 o'clock game with Montgomery County and Beechwood. Montgomery County plays a 37-1 Beechwood team. And if memory serves, if Beechwood was to win 3 more games, they would join only Harrison County in state history, I believe, to win 40 games in a season. Harrison did it in '97. That was a juggernaut of a ball club who, ironically enough, or coincidentally enough, won the state championship at Old Cardinal Stadium, played on the old AstroTurf. So just a little knowledge there.
We also got a big softball game tomorrow as well. 11 a.m. Berea College, Madison Southern against Woodford County.
Woodford County. The last time Woodford will be the 11th region champion. They moved to the 8th region next year.
That's going to be a fun matchup because Madison Southern also upset Scott County.
That's right.
Correct? To reach this point. So they're kind of the team that's riding on all that momentum right now, upsetting the defending state champs. That's going on. Real quick, big shout out to Boyle County boys and girls track teams.
You were over there today. That was
state
cool.
Track was cool. I actually spent 2 years in Iowa, so we covered state track like we cover Kentucky basketball here. I mean, we were covering 4 meets a day, and over there, Boyle County Rebels boys 2A state champions, girls with 1 event left, I think are 1 point behind Mercer County. So Boyle County's got a little powerhouse in track going on. So a big shout out to those guys. And of course, all of the athletes from our area that won gold, silver, whatever they finished today, a big shout out. I ran track cross country. It is not for the faint of heart. Those guys train year round. You're running 80 miles a week sometimes if you're a distance runner. It's crazy. So big shout out to those guys for getting that done, especially East Jessamine. They went 1 and 2. in the 300-meter hurdles. That's pretty cool.
I don't think I've run 80 miles since I quit playing college baseball.
That's a lot, right?
Those years ago.
Yeah, those were my skinny days, real skinny days.
Well, just hold my breath. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live this evening. He will be anchoring this weekend, so get out and support your softball and high school baseball teams. And if you get out to the UK Outdoor Complex tomorrow, there's one more event, and then all of the state championships will be decided. There's tennis going on, but baseball and softball tomorrow at KPP starts at 4 o'clock and a doubleheader at 7. For Alex Walker, I'm Brian Milam. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.